Hello everyone, my name's Bart G and I'm a Christian speaker from the UK, and I'm also a musician with a disability, and I was born severely disabled with a rare condition called arthrogryposis, which means that I have weak muscles and stiff joints, and it affects people in different ways. So for me, it actually affects my whole body, and each person is uniquely affected as to how severe it can be. And when I was born, the doctors basically gave a very bleak outlook to my parents. They told my parents that I would never walk and that I may never have the strength to be able to sit up independently. But I was brought up in a Christian family, and the church that I went to, the pastor, he prophesied to my parents, saying that little by little I will be able to do more and more new things that will amaze people. And he prayed for two things specifically. The first thing that he prayed was that one day I would be physically able to walk down the aisle of the church. And this was going against what the doctors were saying. Well, anyway, I was able to start walking age 3.5, and I was gradually able to do more and more new things and been able to take part in many sports at varying levels of ability. And over recent years, I've actually managed to complete a 5 kilometre swim and 3 triathlons. So God has really answered that prayer. Now, the second thing that the pastor prayed was that one day I'd be able to play the organ like my father. Now, my father, he played the organ every week at church, and being able-bodied would play using both hands and all of his fingers. And you have to bear in mind that that when I was young, when Mum asked with that little bit of hope, is there any chance of me playing the piano or the organ? The doctors basically said, looking at my hands as they are, there's absolutely no chance whatsoever. There was even doubt that I would have the strength to press down a key. But I actually started playing age 5, and I passed my grade 5 when I was age 11, and I play regularly at church. So again, God has answered this prayer. Now, today I want to talk to you briefly about God's plans being perfect and God's timing of being perfect. And in Jeremiah 29 verse 11 it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." And there have been many times in my life when I've noticed God's plans being perfect, God's timing is perfect, and just things absolutely falling into place. And in late 2018, I had a message out of the blue inviting me to share my story out in India. And it was to go to India in August 2019, which would mean I would have a fair bit of time for planning. And I thought, this is such a great opportunity, but how is it going to work? Because of my disability, I need help with certain tasks. And one of the tasks I need help with is getting ready in the mornings. And I thought, will I be able to arrange care out in India before I go? But anyway, I was talking with some friends from my church shortly after I had the invite. And one of my friends, he's originally from India. And when I told him the name of the town where I'd have to fly in, it was a town called Vijayawada. I'd never heard of it before. And my friend, he said he's got relatives who live not far from there, and he knows the area. And without me even asking him, he offered to come with me, to give me all the help that I needed. And guess what he does for a living? He's a doctor. It could not have worked out any better. And the other thing was that he knows the culture, being from India. So for me, that was just absolutely amazing how God's plan is perfect. And I'm now going to show you a short clip from one of the school assemblies that I took. Have a look at this. As a child, I prayed for God to heal me of my disability, and I believe He can. But I also believe that God can use people through the difficulty of their situation so that His works can be displayed and for His glory to shine through that person. And I've prayed for God's will to be done in my life. And when this opportunity came to speak out in India, with everything falling into place as it is, I believe that God's will is being done in my life. And through having many talks in India, many people invited Jesus into their hearts as their Lord and Saviour, including at this assembly that I have shown you. So I want to leave you with the thought that God's plans are perfect. They may not be the same plans as you have, but God's plans are perfect. God's timing is perfect. And I hope this story gives you some encouragement. Thank you for listening.